check, mic check.
Oh, my check.
Okay, perfect.
Good. William Pryor III, and play whatever position he need me to play. I play 1 through 5 for the most part, kind of like a Draymond.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
I feel like my role is mainly to be that energy guy, come in, whether I'm starting or whether I'm coming off the bench, provide energy on defense, provide energy on offense, to be a thinker out there. Coach tells me all the time to play that Draymond role, like on defense, switch if you got to switch, take a charge, make a play, and even on offense, initiate when I get the ball just to go. What Coach wants from me is just to help the team when I'm in there, help the team flow, help us to get in the rhythm, help us to stay, on task, stay focused to what the grind is, what we're trying to accomplish, whether it's coming down and setting a double screen for the left side to get a wide open 3, or on defense, switching and making sure we close out on shooters. Whatever the coach needs me to do, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, well, for somebody there's this aura around you, that's probably because you're a certified pastor.
It's cool. Me and Maurice, we clicked last year when we found out, we both were, in the ministry and really aspiring to be pastors or be ministers or whatever. I think it helps because a lot of guys on the team know when it comes to us that for the most part, we're even keel. You're going to get the same response whether we're winning by 30 or we're losing by 30. And I think it's good for the team because, sometimes, in the heat of the moment, guys can say things that can get misconstrued, and guys can say things that can, be taken offensively when your feelings and emotions are tied up in the game. And it's good to have somebody that could come and pull you to the side and be like, hey man, you really didn't mean it, but you did do A, B, and C. And that's the only reason he said something. He just want to make you better. Even when coaches are getting on some of the players a little bit harder than others, being that voice of reason and saying, hey man, coach is just pushing you because you got greatness inside of you. So I think having us on the team and just being those voices that we don't always have to be the leaders, but we can stand out and assist with, just being that extra voice of reasoning. Big brother role, just keeping everybody calm, cool, and making sure we all stay as brothers, and stay committed to each other.
So, do you find a correlation between your spiritual journey and your athletic aspirations?
Oh, absolutely. Last year when we were playing, I was in training to be a pastor. And
you were playing for a different team, by the way?
Yeah, playing for a different team, but I was in training to be a pastor. And one of the things I learned is that it was really about your focus. Even in training camp last year and training camp this year, it's always been about focus. And same thing with my spiritual journey, it's always been about my focus, because once you lose focus, you're bound to do things that you wouldn't normally do, and you start getting sidetracked and then become stagnant. And on my spiritual journey, it was a lot of things that was holding me back, but it was because I wasn't focused. So once I changed my mindset and changed what I put my time into, same thing with basketball, things just started changing left and right, and I felt the growth. Even coming into training camp this year, coaches told me several times, he can see the difference from last year to this year. And that's because I took the time and said, okay, well, in this off season, I'm running, I'm shooting, I'm sprinting, I'm losing weight, I'm eating their best. Same thing with the spiritual journey. I'm reading my word, I'm taking time out to get poured into, I'm spending time with my pastor, I'm spending time, with God's people, just doing both, and I'm keeping my focus, and then I can see the growth both spiritually and athletically. One thing that I stick to, and it's kind of funny because the Sixers use it all the time with that trust the process. That was the first thing my pastor told me when I came to this church last year. He just told me to trust the process. And at first I didn't know what he meant. So I just said, okay. And I just went with that. But in that process of becoming a pastor and the process of, becoming a part of the BayHawks team, it was all a process. Things don't just happen overnight. You got to be committed to the grind. You got to be committed to what it takes to get to those levels that you're aspiring.
And the work.
Yeah.
That's the process.
Yeah.
Putting in the work.
And a lot of people want the glory, want the name and lights, want the fame. Yeah, but nobody wants to put in the ugly hours. It was times where I didn't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym and shoot. but I forced myself to go. I'm part of the process, and now when I come in here and I'm, you know, with coaches and stuff, they can see the difference in my shot. They can see I'm more consistent. They can see my handles got better. They can see I'm more quicker. They can see I've lost weight. That's all a part of the process. And the same thing with church, you know, with my wife, you know, she can see the growth that we've had in the 6 years we've been together, that, you know, from a little boy to a man, you know, and I'm more spiritually sound, I'm more spiritually mature, I'm more spiritually wise. And it was all about trusting that process. You know, the Bible says that we're supposed to die daily, you know, so it's things that I have to, you know, work on daily. Same thing with basketball. You know, you don't just wake up and be a Steph Curry. It's a process. You don't wake up and be a Kevin Durant. It's a process. Those guys, they put in hours and hours at the gym, and you can't come on the court and think that you just gonna score 30 and you ain't been putting in the work. It just don't work that way. You know, it's a process to this. So that's my main thing that I stick to. That's what my fuel is every single day, is just trust the process.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Enjoy your day, and I will see you soon, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.